2020, a year in review. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It is great to be here with all of you on Thursday, December 31st, 2020, the last time we'll be saying the infamous year itself. As always, joined alongside my co-host, Gavin. Gavin, it is great to be here with you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Zach. Look, this year was something. I'm just gonna put it like that. But I'm just ready for it to be 2021. Zach, it gets real for us next year. We turn 18 and we graduate next year, and I'm ready to see what the future has in store. I'm sure it's already get ready this year. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. New year again. A lot of people. I'm not the biggest person on the new year, new me kind of thing. I know we kind of read about that a little too much on social media, but it has been a tough year in itself. Past 12 months have definitely been rough for all of us. I'd say so at least. But with that being said, there's a lot of positives that we have to look at as well. And one thing that we did when we started the show is that we understood there was a lot of negativity out there, and we wanted to spread the positive. And so I know we've had a lot of great moments on here, a lot of heated moments, a lot of passionate moments. Look, between 30 minutes and an hour a day, we've even more than an hour some days, we get the opportunity to sit here, break down what we love, talk about it, and then we have some uncomfortable conversations. We recorded that one Thursday in August. Gavin, I know you're gonna emphasize on that show a little bit more later when we broke down some of the news of the sports world. We elected to avoid talking about the NBA for a day, talking about opportunity and how people can be encouraged to make success and do what they can with the opportunities that they're given. And that's really what makes the show so great. It's what makes everything great. Of course, I love sitting on here and talking about the Eagles and the Sixers. And I mean, yes, as much as we like to punch at the Phillies, we love talking about them. We love our sports teams in Philly.
You really love the Phillies, though?
We do. Look, today's a good day to be able to. Now, first of all, before we get to any of that, do I see Gavin's graduation picture? I do.
Mom, you changed it? I didn't know you did that. Oh,
Happy
man.
New Year. Look at that. We get to see that all the time now.
Oh, man. Mom, you had to change that.
Nah, we're keeping that's staying. It has to. Don't listen to Gavin. But yes, getting back to it, it's been a phenomenal year from that perspective. And from the sport, look, we had from March to June and July where there weren't sports on. And we know because we were doing a talk show during that time. We always laugh about it, how we started a sports talk show during a time
there
weren't sports. And we had to come up with stuff to talk about every day. We did it. But nothing beats sitting down and recapping some of the sports that we've seen. So a year in itself, again, that has not been phenomenal. Again, we've had a global pandemic, which does not end at midnight tonight. For those who might think it does, it does not. Just remember that going into the new year. As far as from the political climate, it's been a hectic year. We hope that we're moving in the right direction. A lot of big things have happened across the world this year. We lost one of the greats in Kobe Bryant back in January. Little did we know back then it wouldn't even make the top story, but of course it's going to be brought up because it was a tragedy for him, his daughter, and so many great people on that helicopter that had their lives ahead of them. And so I think one thing that I was able to do during that time, even before any of this happened, was Kobe Bryant was a great person who was very big on live every moment like it's your last, and that was one of the ways that I looked at it back in January. And I think it's a reminder to anyone that at any moment you can really have your life cut away from you, or whatever happens, your life could be taken. And it's important that you live every day like it's your last. And I don't mean that by going out and being stupid. I mean going out and enjoying it with your loved ones. And so these could be arguably part of the good old days that we can reference when we're older. Enjoy it while you can. And again, all the news you're going to watch and tonight at midnight when everyone's talking about the new year, for frontline workers, which it's been a year.
A hell of a year for them.
For them who at their job, they don't know if they're going to be able to save every patient who comes into them, and important that we just reflect on not only what's happened, because we got to be real, a lot of not positive things have happened this year, a lot of things we're not fond of, a lot of decision making, a lot of things like that we aren't big fans of outside of the sports world. But at the same time, we also have to look back and see some of the positives. The emphasis on a lot of the social justice movements moving forward, the protests that we saw during the summer, which continue, and of course the conversation must continue. It doesn't end at midnight tonight either. That's one thing we have to remember. And with all that being said, it's so important that we remember this was a time where life was frozen. for most people at least a month, from March to April, and then for others, depending on where you live or what you do, even up to now, life could still be frozen for you. It's been crazy, and it is something unheard of and something unexpected to ever have to go through again. And hopefully we're on the other side of it. As an optimistic person, Gavin, you, myself, we like to be optimistic. We hope that we're on this other side, this more positive end, this more upward slope where we continue to make a positive impact and have more positive news to come forward. And again, tomorrow, just because the calendar changes, the world's still the same. The issues that remain today, the issues that remained even before election day or after election day, these are problems that still have fixing to do. And my duty, our goal on this show is the younger generation. We want to encourage people to make the right decisions, make the right actions, and not only talk about some of these key elements, but actually back it up with action. And that's what's super important. And that's one of the big things I want to reflect on as we go into 2021.
Well, Zach, 2020 was hard. You go from a woman, it's literally the world's biggest, how it started and how it's going. Zach, talk about, coming back after holiday break, and I want to say, 2.5 months later, we're at home and quarantine, and everybody was talking about quarantine being one of the worst. Zach, I view quarantine as differently. I view it as kind of fun. Zach, you had your family around. You knew where everybody was going to be at. Everybody was at home. Zach, my family was here. We did a lot of fun things in quarantine, whether it was battleship versus my dad, and then there was either playing dollhouse with my little sister. Yes, Zach, dollhouses and little tea parties. I'm fond of them. You're more than welcome to come join us next time. And then you had the online aspect where you had the game, gaming with DeJuan every day, and then starting to talk show with you. And was it really that bad? I mean, I view it from a happy standpoint. Like, yes, what was going on outside was not great, with the movements and the virus and everything. But the thing about it, Zach, we made it to another year. All right. I know it's crazy to say with all this stuff going on, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you woke up this morning and hopefully you wake up tomorrow, you made it. You made it. You're here. The loved ones, hopefully all your loved ones made it, and you made it to next year, and they made it to next year. But Zach, I look at 2020 as a year of a lot of things, a year to slow down and stop. I believe that things happen for a reason, Zach. I believe that this virus was maybe a way for someone to be like, hey, we're too going at 100 miles per hour. Let's slow down. That's how I view it as. Zach, we were nonstop at school. It was one thing after another, whether it was getting ready to go for college, whether it was getting this assignment out, whether it was just doing this. And then for my working friends, you guys know what that is, working every day to then staying at home and not working at all for a little while. That was tough. Not saying that everybody had a great year when it came to that aspect, but I view it from we're still here. All right, knock on wood for that, everybody, for me. That we're still here. We have fun. We laugh. We smile. We roll with the punches. But that's the beauty of this year, is rolling with the punches. I think that's what 2020 is going to go down as, rolling with the punches. Zach, you talk about Kobe Bryant passing away. That was hard. You go from that to a pandemic to social injustice to round it all off with an election. I mean, it was just nonstop, constant. What the hell is going on? But at the end, you ended with a holiday, even though it didn't feel like that, and then you get to start all over with a new year. Ladies and gentlemen, the virus is still going to be here. The movement's still going to be going on. But it's us as a people to remember. A year is how you make it. Zach, you could say next year is going to suck. All right, next year will suck because you're saying it's going to suck. I'm going to roll into next year saying next year is going to be fun. Now, whether I'm having fun or not, that's what you make about it. Zach, I went out in the summertime, went out to eat, did basically kind of kept it normal as usual as much as I can. And we went out golfing multiple times, and we did some things, and we had some fun. And Zach, I hold the Madden record against you, but I'm just saying it's one of those things where you just got to smile and laugh and say you're still here. Like I should have did that, Zach. I should have put
punches.
I should have roll with the punches of senior. That's what it's gonna be. And to my senior friends, Zach, they talk about not having a homecoming and not having our last pep rally. I'm a firm believer that even though that we might not have that, I believe in next year that we're going to get our prom, that we're going to get somewhat of a great graduation. All right. Zach, I don't care. You heard what my mom said. She's gonna build me a stage, and I'm gonna walk across it. We're walking across something. I'm gonna gather a couple friends, and then ultimately after that, we go our separate ways. So all in all, let's just get ready for the new year. Let's have fun. And John, just be patient. It's coming.
Yeah, no doubt. That's coming up next. But Gavin, a lot of things to reflect on this year, and I hope that when we look back on 2020, we remember the lessons that it taught us, but we also think about some of the good things. And with that being said, one of the big good things I'd say that we've had this year, we had the opportunity to get this show started. I'd say back in the early winter, even before the pandemic had started, we had flirted with the idea of getting it started. Yeah. And back in like May, we said, all right, first Monday after school, let's get started with it. And Gavin, I know that some of the production was rather amateur as we've progressed. And so I apologize when we have problems, and I apologize when we have some of these moments that we will probably talk over it just to break it down, some freezing cold takes from Gavin and myself. It's going to be fun. So with that being said, that kind of introduces us to what we're kind of putting in now. And so that's this is from the first episode. This is the very first one. Yes, it's full. It's just, yeah, Gavin.
Real quick. First of all, excuse the lighting and excuse my hair, okay? My hair was long, Zach. I miss it. It wasn't doing me no justice. Barbers were closed. Barbers are also the MVP, so saving my hair.
Without a doubt, we'll get it started. Again, we got 10 moments in here. I think it's going to be fun. We'll break them all down for you. Stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun.
How are you, Zach? I don't know if I can put it into words. I'm super excited to be on here with you.
First episode.
How are you doing today? Welcome to another edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. Welcome in everybody to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It is great to be here with all of you today. It has been a great 2020. We've enjoyed it. Please enjoy the top 10 moments on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show this year.
Coming in at number 10, Gavin's birthday, we had our good friend Trent on talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
It has, John. It has.
So I think I'm gonna blame head coach, and like I said, we have a young team, three like Dak Prescott in his third or fourth year. He's young. The linebacker core is real young, so I'm gonna blame actually the young players, and then more the coach. And Jason Garrett really is an offensive minded coach, and for about 5 to 6 games when we played the Eagles, we got completely shut out. I think scored maybe 30 points over that 5 game.
All right, coming up next.
Real quick, Zach, if I could just say, you could just tell the quality and where we were at the time. I mean, think about it.
Has been postponed. So
this is for the return of the NBA. Everybody stay tuned. This is a fun one.
That we have right now that has been disseminated from the league to us here inside the arena. So the Jazz and Thunder will not play the game here tonight. Unfortunately, the game has been postponed. We will send it back to the guys in the studio, Jason Spells and Greg Buckner, for more.
This is when I realized the world was getting real, Zach.
It was March 11th. It was that night the Sixers played against the Pistons. And this game was right afterwards and was canceled.
The game tonight has been postponed. You're all safe. And take your time in leaving the arena tonight and do so in an orderly fashion. Thank you for coming out tonight. We are all safe. And you can visit OKCThunder.com for updates on upcoming games.
Right, look at that dude's glasses.
Sport and everything that goes into it, from graceful artistry to compelling theater, has always held a place of distinction in the American culture. It's provided an escape, a pleasant distraction from the issues of the real world. Now, suddenly, sport has become a focal point in a worldwide battle against an opponent uncommon, unseen, and unnerving. In the span of roughly 24 hours, the nation received a presidential update on this threat, and shortly thereafter, An NBA game was postponed when a first-time All-Star became the first player to test positive for the coronavirus. A revelation which prompted the league to abruptly suspend its season. As that hiatus began, other sports would follow suit. Another NBA player's positive test result was revealed. And while games and tournaments were scrapped, 2 college basketball teams playing an early afternoon game went to their locker rooms at halftime, but would not return to the court.
You might as well finish the game, Zach. Am I right? Might as well.
They were down at the halftime. It was an upset alert in the Garden, Gavin's favorite stadium.
Its path, once started, remains shrouded in uncertainty, as is the immediate future of what.
Coming in at number 8, Gavin, you remember this one.
Zach, is there anything you want to add? Or
So my power went out. I'll have to pause it to explain it. It was an interesting day on the show. I had just finished saying something, and that you see on the screen with the blue shirt, I'm frozen. So it makes sense, Gavin, why you may have thought that I was still there. But yeah, I froze. Power went out. Took me about 6 or 7 minutes. Gavin was going solo at the moment, and then I came back in. But it was pretty funny because I was trying to get the stream on my phone. The stream jumped from my computer to Gavin. This is back in August. It was
And ladies and gentlemen, if I may say, I can't cut the break or I can't pull us off. I can't do none of that. I have to keep rolling with the show. And the reason why this moment is funny to me and Zach is because, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't it look like he's there? Because look, Zach plays the best face ever of just waiting for his turn to go. And I thought he was actually there. And whenever something goes wrong, I immediately look at my phone and say, "Where's Zach?"
I was frozen. Power went out. Took some time, but this is easily one of the top 10 moments this year.
Adam, thank you for coming. For sure. Is there anything else you guys hear about the NBA stuff? No. Zach lost power and told me.
Poker face.
But you haven't watched any of the NBA stuff?
And coming in number 7, the Phillies' first loss of the season against the Marlins.
Well, given the whole coronavirus situation, it's kind of mellowed me out a little bit. But what did we just see this weekend? What was that? Gavin, this team didn't really have high expectations going into this year like they did last year. Last year we were talking about the playoff run, given that they were 500 the year before with their first year with the new manager. They bring in a couple of new pieces, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto. We started calling that contact the next Howie Roseman. Really, that's
another cold take right there.
We're putting them at. We did that purpose is so normal. John Middleton flying out to Las Vegas to personally welcome Bryce Harper to the Phillies. And what was that this weekend? He dropped 2 of 3 to the Marlins. First of all, what's Miami? All right, December 1st, the Eagles lose to the Dolphins. The Miami Heat own the Sixers this year, beating them 3-1 in the series. One great game, thanks to Josh Richardson for that. And then the Phillies can't beat the sneaking Marlins. I don't understand what it is. Aaron Nola goes out there, he gets his strikeouts, he throws some good hits. Offense barely makes a noise in the first game. Bryce Harper, Reese Hoskins. Where the hell were you?
Gavin, I'll apologize in advance. This is when the Lakers won the title, number 6.
Okay, wait a minute. Pause it real quick. I was not happy with this day for multiple reasons. One, because as soon as we get into the show, ladies and gentlemen, he surprised me with a purple and gold background, and he knew I wasn't in a good mood. But roll the tape, Zach. I wasn't in a good mood.
Tape roll, moment number 6.
Negative. And speaking of that, we're bringing in Gavin Tony right now. Gavin, props to the brand new background. Just temporary background, but those we appreciate the purple and gold. As the Los Angeles Lakers have claimed their 17th title last night, we'll also talk about our hometown.
I was furious, ladies and gentlemen. I was pissed off.
If you're an Eagles fan, I'm not sure you can be terribly upset with the game yesterday. There's a lot of things you can pinpoint. We'll get to all of that and more. But first of all, Gavin, I do have to ask you, how are you? How was your weekend? Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I came on and I did not approve of this yellow and gold.
I didn't, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't have a say in this.
I don't approve of it. I had a horrible sports weekend. I had a great weekend as a person, but horrible sports week.
Horrible sports weekend. Put that on.
It is still.
The run game was non-existent.
Moment number 5.
But this week, the O-line, I think Pro Football Focus had them as the second best O line.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on, pause this. There's a reason why this moment is on here. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach has never lost his cool at all. This is it, right? This one, right?
This is it. So I'm solo on there, and I'm mad, right? But on the bottom of my screen, I can see like Gavin, I can see you. So when I was on by myself, I saw you. When I started yelling, I just see you with this appalled face, and I tried not to laugh because I was
Zach
trying to be
never
serious.
loses his cool. He never loses his cool. I can no matter what I say, he doesn't lose it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is arguably one of my favorite moments. This should have been maybe number one, but number one is pretty fantastic. But Zach, this roll the tape, man. This had me shocked.
I did make a bold statement here. I'm going to ask you right after I roll the film on whether or not you agree with my comments from then now, because you didn't at the moment.
Carson Wentz lost the Eagles this football game. All right, Carson Wentz did it by forcing the ball into places. Again, Carson Wentz has never had an interception issue. 7 interceptions in the last 3 seasons. Aaron Rodgers is one of the guys that have single-digit picks and all those years as well. But here's the thing. Carson Wentz, unlike other quarterbacks like Jameis Winston, bad reads or bad executed throws like Daniel Jones had. Carson Wentz is forcing the ball into areas that it doesn't need to be. He's trying to be Superman on a team where he only needs to do the basics. I will say something right now. I'm probably going to hopefully regret it one day. But as of right now, Dak Prescott is the better quarterback and the best quarterback in the NFC East. And here's why. He's asked to step back and throw the ball and do the basics. He does it. Carson Wentz, congratulations, man. You can run around and throw a ball to Miles Sanders in the back of the end zone.
He's starting to get red, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to let you know that.
You can't. The basics.
I just see you in the bottom. I start smiling.
You're out here like throwing the ball around and forcing it in places. I'll bring Gavin back, and you look shocked as all heck. But I gotta make this. I hope I regret this. Okay. Just can't from your mouth. There's no way I regret that. He can't do the basics. He's trying to force it in. He's trying to be MVP 2017 Carson. He wasn't Superman that year. He stepped back and threw it. He makes great throws. He's a smart guy. And he's out there doing this right now. That's not what you're being paid for. I mean, really?
I don't know what's red or Zach. Just share your face. I forget to this day.
We ran the ball more than 25 times yesterday. They've lost 2 games.
I also had a cough that day, ladies and gentlemen. That's why.
Not only did it get out coached, but he had bad throws. The second pick I'm not going to count. The game was over. It was a terrible throw altogether. But that first one's horrible. You're down by what, 5? It's 21-16.
Here's the big part.
To a player who shouldn't even be on there. He should not even be drafted by this team. And J.J. Whiteside. I want to give him promise and hope. He looked pretty good in college. But DK Metcalf was on the board. And Johnny McLaurin was on the board. I'm not going to talk about Howie today. That's for another day. But the quarterback is the problem on this football team.
All right, let me ask you this question then, because you looked pretty shocked when I said it at the moment. Is Dak Prescott better than Carson Wentz?
I still don't believe that. I don't believe that because we never seen Dak Prescott without talent. Zach, he's always had someone around him, whether it's Zeke Elliott, whether it's Amari Cooper, whether it's Michael Gallup. He's always had someone around, and he always had offensive line. Now, this year, maybe a different story, but I think in the long run, it's a different story.
No, I mean, it sounded like a freezing cold take then, not as much now, does it?
No, it doesn't. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I kept covering him out, I had a really bad Zach. I had a really bad cough that day. You were making it worse. You were making it worse.
By yelling. I mean, am I wrong? Like J.J. Whiteside over DK Metcalf? I mean, this is common sense. We know this.
And Justin Jefferson, too. You forgot to add that in there.
That's a new one. I'm
All
sure
right.
it's in there, too, for that one. But now, number 4 is also one of our best moments. We had a great opportunity early in the show to meet DeMarco Murray and interview him. Again, the audio is a little bit tough for us, but for at least DeMarco, it was pretty quality. Just a little bit of a background. This is moment number 4.
I'm good. How are you guys? Doing great.
Yes, I do have a Titans jersey on, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are asking.
For the record, the audio is a little better now than it was.
I always care. So that's why, like, it's one of the very, we got through my football playing stage where I played, and I got lucky enough to be invited, and I got to meet DeMarco himself. We got to hang out times after that, and it was pretty, I would say pretty fun. So for those who didn't know, that's how it happened. We met that way. We always been close like those things.
Yeah, it was definitely a blessing to meet you, and obviously, we kept in contact throughout the years, and that was 2015, obviously 5 years ago, and have the opportunity to meet you and your family. It's been a big blessing for me and my family, and can't express our gratitude towards you and just your mindset.
Now, real quick, Zach, because there's an explanation that needs to be explained. The amount of text messages and comments talk about where's DeMarco at, where's DeMarco at. We had to, so DeMarco Murray was going to join us a little bit later in the show.
Around 12:30.
Around 12:30, exactly. And I had my mom asking, when you guys going to bring him on? When you guys going to bring him on? I'm trying to sit here and do the show and talk about he's not here yet. Okay, he's on his way. And then the comment section was, where is he at? Zach, I think that was the one time where it felt like the show was like, it was like either he comes and is a big success. If he can't make it, then it's like, oh, it's tough because we already made the overlay. We already made all of that. But luckily, everything worked out. And on a technology side, too, couldn't ask anything better.
Yeah, I mean, usually with that software, occasionally I'd say every 3 guests we have an issue. And I remember, so we're sitting here. That was one of the Fridays back when we were doing it in person together on Fridays. And we're both sitting there, we're talking. I don't even remember what we took.
We were just rambling. We were just killing
time. We had enough topics for a half hour and then some, but it's like 12:40 at this point, and we're rambling. And then all of a sudden I see the top of the screen, DeMarco Murray's ready to join your broadcast. And I show Gavin. And at that moment you were talking about something, whether it was the Cowboys or
about Alvin Kamara, and then all of a sudden
you lost all train of thought. And I'm like, all right, we gotta bring him in
here. I'm good.
And it was awesome. Like you said, it was perfect. The technology, everything worked out really well that day. And props to him, by the way. Oklahoma, big win last night in their Cotton Bowl game. We'll be actually breaking it down after we're done with this. But yeah, it was hectic. The fact we were able to sit there for 40 minutes and find stuff to talk about was kind of cool. And like you said, it was texting us wondering where he was, and everything worked out perfectly.
And appreciate you for coming on. And hopefully we can bring you back pretty soon.
Most definitely. Coming up at number 3, Gavin. This is probably your coldest take of the year.
Okay, hold on. There's an explanation.
Here's Gavin's open letter.
Wait a minute, hold on. Is this what I think it was?
I think so.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, real quick. I was having a bad day. All right. I know some Lakers fans, all they do is like they run their mouth about things. And then I know a lot of annoying LeBron fans, and I wasn't having it. Go ahead, Zach.
All right. Number 3, Gavin addressing Lakers fans and LeBron fans.
LeBron. The floor is yours. Portland Trailblazers lost. I'm okay with that. Portland Trailblazers are going to win at 6 anyway. I'm stand by that. For those who may or may not know, I don't care what happened. For all these Lakers fans that want to message me and keep asking me, am I going to pick their team? No. What I look like? I'm not. When I mean it, Zach, and I really do mean it. All right? I would not pick the Lakers. You're not winning at all this year. All right? The problem with Lakers fans is this. You guys win. Guys, I'm 17 years old. All right? It feels like it's been 11 years since you guys actually done something. And you guys haven't really do anything yet. And you guys aren't even that high up there in the West. Yeah, Zach, I know you're number 1 in the West, but guess what? They don't even look that great. I got Lakers fans talking about Ben Simmons is out and Jason Tatum's doing this and Steph Curry's out and the Warriors are in. I know that. That's old news. When Ben Simmons went out and after game 1, I already knew what it was going to be. Zach, I'll take it even a step further. When Ben Simmons went out, I already knew Jason Tatum was going to do whatever he wanted. So that's old news. Lakers fans, you guys need to relax. All right, you need to relax. That's what y'all need to do. Now, LeBron fans, y'all are the worst out of all of you guys. Cowboys fans, y'all like you guys are neck and neck. Here's my problem with LeBron fans. First of all, LeBron's not in top 5. Let's get that out of the way. He's He's not.
I hope
All right?
you've revoked your
He's not.
statement since
And
then.
when LeBron loses this first round, like Paul Pierce said, let's end this GOAT talk. Let's end it. All right? Let's end it. Because you're just ruining the day. Now, how can you guys be running your mouth last night when you only had 10 points? Last time I checked, it was a horrible shooting night for Portland, right, Zach? It was a horrible day for Damian Lillard because he dislocated his finger.
That's got to be one of the coldest takes in existence right there. Gavin, you have an opportunity to explain yourself.
Listen, Zach, I still listen. All right, but that's what happens when LeBron fans, Lakers fans start talking to me and think they're going to get somewhere. Do I stand by that top 5 statement? I provoke it. All right, that's fine. You got it. But he's not number 2, and he's sure as hell not number 1. Number 3 at best, maybe number 4. But I'll give it number 3. And yeah, no, don't listen, guys. I'm going to stand by what I say. All right, that's the only time you'll ever hear me just go back on what I said. But I stick to it.
Blazers in 6. I'm sure I can find some Rockets ones too, but although I do give you credit, in the end of the Heat series, you did know when it was over, and props to you for that.
Because I was tired of I just wanted to get it over so I can just hear and they're still talking about it. Zach. That's the annoying part. Stop living in the past.
It's a new season. LeBron's getting his fit this year. It's all right.
No, he's not.
So we are going to continue with number 2. This one was quite an interesting one.
Now your screen is not frozen. Internet's fine. It's not that I forgot my usual script. The teleprompter I usually don't read from one anyway. I'm supposed to say welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It is great to have you all here today. But for any Philadelphia sports fan, we got Dallas fans too, so they're not happy either. Maybe that makes a Philly fan more happy. But yeah, I mean, a lot of signs of unity this weekend in the NFL. A lot of great stuff going on, a lot of positives. I know a lot of people pointed out negatives. Coronavirus deaths are continuing to go down. So outside of the sports world, things are looking not too terrible. I try to stay optimistic. Gavin the same way. And speaking of that, we'll pull him in now. I know we're starting off today with a little bit of a depressed mood, and I'll kick it off here in just a minute of why. But first,
yeah, that's when the Eagles, for those who are kind of losing track there, the Eagles lost week 1 to the Washington football team. That was just like out of nowhere. It was something so unexpected, and we're all enjoying a nice little 17-0 lead, and then everything kind of fell down from there.
Now, first of all, I just want to acknowledge the room setup changed. Like I went from this way to this way. I like this a little bit better. And apologies for the echo, ladies and gentlemen. I had no idea my mic was causing the echo. But number 1, and then we got some honorable mentions. Like you want to go honorable mentions first, and then get the number 1. How do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll let you open it up.
So for a couple honorable mentions, there's a lot, guys. We did 120, almost. It feels like almost 150 shows. It's hard to narrow it down to a 10, to 10 moments. And I know there's going to be some that will say that there's 10 better moments, and that's true. So one of my favorite moments on the show was that the Thursday that Zach referenced to earlier, where the NBA was boycotting games, and we decided, and the NBA wanted them not to be the talk of the focus. So me and Zach decided that the next day on the show, we're not talking any sports. We're going to talk about real world issues and opportunities and just everything going on in the world. For me personally, that was one of my favorite shows because I finally got to say how I felt. Okay. And to do that conversation live, Zach, we have a lot of those conversations off the show, but to do that live in front of everybody, that's one of those uncomfortable conversations where you have to do it live. And the reaction from the audience was fantastic because nobody had nothing negative to say. They all had some type of feeling to say. That was one of my favorite shows and will go down as one of my favorite shows of all time. Another one has to do with my friend Matt from the DMV, my friend. He was giving out amazing advice to all the high school players around and basically trying to help everybody make sure when it comes to the recruitment process that they had their situation or they basically had everything they needed to present to the college coach. And he was just a great guest, and we hope that the next time he comes up here, we all go out to lunch or something. Zach, I know that was on the topic of discussion. Hope we can get him back on there soon. And my last favorite moment, DeJuan, if you're watching, I'm sorry I had to do it to you. DeJuan's first ever show was one of my favorites because one, he took my location where I sat downstairs in my house. He took that. That was fantastic to start. But then, for those who may not know Dewan is one of my great friends, and he's one of my quietest friends. Like he's on the quiet side, you would say. So when I asked him I think I asked him the first question I asked him, it was a 1-word answer, and I laughed and I texted him the price. I said I'm gonna need a little bit more from that, and that will always go as one of my favorite shows, just because I just remember him wanting to say a lot, but the first question I asked him was 1-worded, so that's always going down as one of my favorite. But Zach, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, those 3 I just named right there, they might not even be everybody else's favorite moments. There might be some other ones. So, I mean, I'm interested to hear what everybody else has. What Zach, those are my top 3 for sure. Well, top 3 honorable mention ones.
Yeah, no doubt. I have a couple for sure. First of all, anytime Dom's been on, it's been a blast to have him. We've had a lot of, and we've got Dewan here as well. You heard everything he said. And so anytime we had Dom on, it's been fun. I just love when we've had in the summer, especially when we had a lot of free time. People had a lot of free time to come on and talk. Having Matt was on was really cool, because I think that he gave a different perspective for a lot of young basketball players rising, things like that. And so, of course, as you pointed out, and I mentioned earlier, that Thursday show, just an opportunity to kind of sit back and talk about some real world issues, take a day off from sports, and just really focus on what matters. I think that was a really quality show. And then finally, the first day that we were on Facebook, you remember all the comments that we were getting. I mean, today's phenomenal as well. We get some days where we get some really active people in the chat. And I remember the first day we were on Facebook, it exploded, and it was awesome. And I've been so glad that we can sustain it since then. And that's definitely one of the times where you see comments constantly popping up, and it was awesome.
Facebook was coming in left and right, people, and I was surprised, because I didn't think Facebook was going to get a large following. And as soon as you go on Facebook, there was a whole list of comments. And I was surprised. Now, I was surprised because when I was like, wow, Zach, we just started and there's a whole bunch of comments. Zach, I had to scroll down just to see which comment I wanted to look at. But no, all in all, Facebook is fantastic. We love you guys on there, YouTube as well. And stay tuned, because we are coming to podcast platforms pretty soon. That is coming soon.
Yes, for sure. And so that's one of the big things we're working on right now. We're trying to get a website up. It's just trying to find some time to get everything knocked out, but I feel very good that we're going to continue to expand. A big thing to point out, just from the donation sites that we've hit this year, has been also. I know during the new year we're going to focus a lot more on that with the Teespring and the Patreon, a couple other things. It's just been great to talk about it. And given the pandemic, it's been tough, but as things go more normal, just depending on how things go case wise and all the science behind that, we do want to get out and we want to get involved in the community. We want to go and help out as much as we can, possibly document it so that people can see what it looks like to really stand by each other and help each other in the community. And so, again, given the circumstances, it's been really tough to be able to go out and do that. But that's something coming forward, and we continue to progress and grow the network.
I'm excited. Zach. The first place we donated to was one of my favorite hostels, Shriners Hostel. And that was really special to me, because everything they did for me throughout my whole life, and I just wanted to give back. And then look, guys, we have Teespring, we have all this. We'd like to give back. Now, I know we might have missed a couple months with announcing, but we kind of got caught up in school. But don't forget, next year, Zach, we will. It's going to start again next year. We're going back to what we said we were going to do, which is donate. And Zach, and I got to bring this up. For those that ask, me and Zach, yes, we do hang out outside the show. Zach, I do get some questions. Are we just co-workers? Are we friends? No, ladies and gentlemen, we're friends. Zach, our poker games and our blackjack games, they get intense. I went to
UK, mini golf, everything.
And golf simulator, Zach, that was horrible. We shot horrible. But I will say this, Zach, this weekend, whether it's versus the Whitmans or whether it's just us two, there's going to be a round 2 mini golf. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach had a lot of fun. The day I lost and I was not happy, he brought the scorecard and a hat too. Was that what it was? Scorecard and hat.
You really think I'm not going to have it here? Okay,
well, you still have to. All right, look, that wasn't necessary. I'm gonna get him back. It's been fun, man. We're really friends outside the show. That's how it started. We started from the Y basketball days where I used to lock Zach up and he used to shoot Oprah. No, I'm playing. But no, that's how we started. We started from there and we found our friendship was able to grow from middle school and on from here, and hopefully, go forever and ever.
Couldn't agree more. It's been a blast. We've known each other since elementary school. Of course, we met up in middle school officially. We've been together since. We've worked in a club together at school discussing sports, of course, and it's been fun both on and off the air. We've had a lot of good times, and I continue to look forward to it. And yes, Gavin is still seeking his revenge in mini golf. I will wait to see how it
ladies and
works.
gentlemen, I am. But this number one, Zach was dunking back.
I was, believe it or not, and again, I'm 5'9". You know, I'm not the biggest guy anymore, but I was at one point the tallest kid on the court. I was once the center. I was 5'6", 5'7" in middle school. Have not grown much since then. I'm not thrilled about it, but back then that was considered tall. They put Big Zach in the middle. They said get the rebounds and put it back up, or get to the line a few times, and then Gavin got in my way, so I was not as successful.
I'll never forget, Zach, when you dropped the ball and you went to go pick it up and I dived for it. I think I landed on your arm, and that's when whenever the ball was down, you never reached down for it ever again. Ladies and gentlemen, they used to stick me at the 5 for what? No, I don't know, but Zach had a hard time getting any rebound.
You know, I missed those days. I went from a center to a point guard real quick.
And I went from I stay at the 5. I went from the 5 to the 4. I mean, it really didn't change. But this number one moment right here, Zach, right here. Actually, before I get into that, I just got to say one more thing. But for those who may not know, like, the goofiness that we bring to the show, and that's how it is off the camera. It's like there's been multiple times we wanted to record our off-the-show conversations about whether it's going on in the real world, whether it's us and blackjack and the competitiveness, whether it's 2K, the trash talking in golf that I heard from you. Meanwhile, you use your own putter, which is kind of cheating. But what I always say is this. It's fun. It's been fun. It's been a hell of a year. You know, we made the best of what it is, and I'm excited for next year and see what's going on and continue working with you and having fun. And yes, Zach, this weekend it's going to be 55. Let's go outside and let's go get another round in. Come on.
With that being said, my putter is a little bit of a longer back. So when my ball was up against the wall, I used your putter to get it out. So if anything, you had the advantage.
No, Zach, you had your own putter. I had to use the one from there.
Would you like to use my other putter I have here? We used to go outside. We had my little green that we rolled up in the garage, and we used to do putting on there too.
We did. But Zach, I mean, your putter is a little bit too tall for me, so I have to stand for the 5. I might have to use the other ones. I'm still on the kids' side, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about not growing. Let's talk about me. Let's talk about that. But this number one moment right here, Zach. Now, for those who remember the GOAT debate and how heated that got the first time we introduced it.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is one of the older episodes, so I do apologize if the audio is a little scratchy. We did have a guest on with a little bit of a delay, but there's a lot of shouting, and that's kind of what the entertaining part is. So with that being said, the number one moment of 2020 on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show.
My favorite moment.
All right, LeBron did too. So what's wrong with that? What do you mean? What's wrong with bringing his players on win? But LeBron can go to the finals by himself, but he can't win the finals by himself. He can't go to the finals because the Cavaliers beat the U.S. He can't go to the Cavaliers after Kevin Love was going down, and after Kyrie Irving left, he can't go to the finals. That's just wrong. That's wrong. Look at the team Jordan ran through. Look at the teams LeBron's running through. LeBron is running through soft straight. I get 8 straight finals, but look at the record, yo. Look. The record. We talked about.
That's the phone, by the way, from the recording. It's.
Go on. But it's not. It doesn't yes, it does. It does too. It does too. It does too. Because when you don't come to the NBA and be like, I'm gonna get all the scoring titles. That's that. Your goal when you come to the NBA, you want to win a championship. Like, come on now. And LeBron never three-peated. That's Boston beat the Sixers. Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. Check this out, though. Ready? If you want to talk about not having a team, if LeBron is supposed to be the GOAT, why does he need everybody to play with him? Because that's what is always the narrative every year. Is LeBron needs everybody to play with him. Okay, how does the Cavaliers? How does LeBron get a team to the finals?
That's got to be put up.
When AI literally had no one, and took them to the what? Did he take the Lakers to Game 7 with Kobe? Or at least Game 6? Game 5. You want to get terrible with this AI. No, you're right. And he has other sides too. You had to come in and become the top 3 center at the time, but you regardless that the reason that he's not the conversation. Now you're making a good point that with Allen Iverson, why it's not the conversation. The reason that he's not in the conversation because he never repeated his success with other people. When he went to Denver, when he was with Philly still, they never won back. So they never went back to the finals. So LeBron James has won what 3? So what I'm trying to say is
since then it's been 4. 4 NBA titles.
Okay, but there's no three-peat. Remember, how many rings did Jordan have at the age of 36?
Jordan?
Yeah. What do you have?
Did 2 repeats.
Exactly. He already has 6. What does LeBron have?
How many first-round eliminations?
Don't
How
start
many
that
first-round
garbage.
eliminations?
Don't start that garbage. Where's Kalen Flynn at? I need to get him on here again. But wait a minute.
That was a good show. The reason that it's number one, it's not just that specific moment of us shouting at each other. We've had we could probably compile hours of our show just discussing this conversation. We ask all of our guests when they come on. We've had overwhelmingly, obviously, in your favor, but it's been fun and watching Michael Jordan. I'm sorry, watching LeBron James be able to win the title this year was even more fun with having you on as well.
To your face, and then brought a frown to mine. But Zach, I real quick, I just want to discuss one thing because I get a lot of questions on why I was looking this way. For those who don't know, that old software, when some people would show up, they would show up on blue on my end. So I'm sitting next to Zach, and when I'm trying to address Kalen, I hate talking to a blue screen. I like talking,
Yes, Sam.
So I kept looking this way when I was arguing with Zach. So that's where that comes from. I get a lot of questions on why I was looking to my my right to you guys to my left. That's why, because Zach was sitting right there, and Zach, my quarantine hair was just something else, man. I'll just say that.
I tried. Some days I gelled it. Some days I let it sit. It just depends on how wild it was. And I think I read one of the comments earlier about no shave year as a whole. That's pretty true. Right now it's kind of mild, but I've had some longer days, Gavin, obviously trying to retain the beard.
It's going to go pretty soon, Zach.
I'm going for a James Harden look right now, trying to bring him to Philly.
I'm not trying. Listen, if I can bring him to Philly for Tobias Harris, I'll do that.
And Tobias is looking good right now. If they accepted that, I'd be very happy with it. But no doubt, I mean, look, this has been an interesting year. I know we both just named some of our notable moments, but that's our top 10, Gavin. Not only just having great guests on, but being able to have great discussions here, great debates. I don't know what else. The GOAT debate obviously is one of the big ones that we've clashed on. We agree on a lot of things as well. I think it's kind of hard to pick a fight. The big thing is definitely with Dom right now, James Harden and Ben Simmons, and that's probably one of the biggest debates we're looking at right now.
You gotta put that up there, Zach. Listen. First of all, don't make me come down them stairs.
You're gonna get the bald. You're gonna get the bald spot too. Don't worry.
No.
When you get the barber next, they're gonna give you the LeBron look.
No, you can listen, Zach. You can get that. I don't know about the beard too much. You gotta let it grow for a little while, but you can get the LeBron. Get a little bald spot back here.
No, my hair is still full in the back. I'm doing all right.
I will say this about LeBron James. I will say this. Him being named, male athlete of the year, I agree with that. All right. He did a lot outside of the sport of basketball, so I have no problem with that. And especially Miss Athlete of the Year, Naomi Osaka. That was fantastic. I like them both. Great selections. And but listen, when it comes to that last statement, there's gonna be some problems as soon as I get off the show. I guarantee you that.
That should be also live streamed. But no, in all seriousness, 2020 year to be remembered. The NBA champions, Los Angeles Lakers, MLB World Series champions, Los Angeles Dodgers, finally able to overcome that hump. NHL, Tampa Bay. I mean, almost every team has won. The Tampa Bay Lightning taking the victory there. The NFL is unknown yet. Most likely the Chiefs, I'd say so. But as we get closer, we'll, of course, do our picks for that. But this year, actually, it was the Chiefs in 2020. But it's been a fun year in some aspects. In some aspects, not so fun. But sports-wise, it's been an interesting ride. We never really would have thought we'd see Tuesday and Wednesday games for football. But this year, teams had to be flexible. Whether or not they handled it correctly, we don't. That's not for us to call. But to see the Ravens and the Steelers playing on a Wednesday, it's stuff that was unheard of a couple of years ago. And looking back, it's going to be crazy to talk about the fact that we had an NFL game every day of the week at one point: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and of course Sunday. So it's been crazy for the Phillies. Having no fans in the stadiums.
That might be a good thing.
Division. It's been one of those years where, looking back on it, it's going to be an interesting one to look back on. The bubble in Orlando for both the WNBA and the NBA, and then of course one of the big things, which you wouldn't realize it now, but if you look back and watch replays, no spectators for the PGA events and the LPGA events. It's weird not hearing anything after they hit the ball. And so for Bryson DeChambeau winning the U.S. Open this year, and of course Dustin Johnson winning the Masters, those are just some of the champions across the leagues. I don't recall who won the MLS championship. I think it was a team in Florida. Someone correct me in the comments if you know it. But
John's
It's
going
been.
to get you for that one, Zach.
Oh, I know. Philadelphia Union very close. Unfortunately, fallen short twice in that. But sports-wise, it's been an interesting year, and the history books will write it off that way. Whether it's from March 11th when we had no idea what was going on, all leagues were getting shut down. We had times where it was frozen, and later in the month, I think it was April, they announced July 31st was going to be the first game. They went all the way into October, and now we're back for another season where the teams are in their homes. Of course, they don't have fans. MLB had no fans whatsoever. The NFL tried to have some fans. Some teams still do. Of course, in Philadelphia, we had them for a few weeks. Had an opportunity to be there for the Cowboys game, the one they won. But yeah, this is going to be a year that people look back on as one of the crazy ones, and rightfully so. But there's definitely been some positives to look at in this year.
You know what the crazy thing is, that we're not even at our own year point yet for our show. We're 6-7 months in. We haven't got to our year yet, and the fact that we already have all these great moves, I'm ready to see what the next couple months bring into. And ladies and gentlemen, every day has been a blast on the show. There's never a dull moment, whether it's trying to get on the show when it comes to scheduling. I know it says on our cover, it says 12 to 1. Now it's whenever you can get it in. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, the timing where Zach had to start without me multiple times, and I had to go one day without Zach. Luckily, he threw Dom in for me. Thank you, Dom, for helping me with that. But and then going on the sports aspect, you start when there was no sports, and then you just kind of just going off whatever you feed. I felt like, one of those talk shows where you talk about Blake Snell and his money comments and how we were able to put that and made that into something, and talk about how Damian Lillard's comments about the Damian Lillard Expedition Challenge. We weren't finding Bryce Harper. That's what made this great, is when we were talking, when there was no sports, that's when we started. And everybody asked, how are you going to do that? I'm like, there's stuff to talk about. You just got to find it. Zach, we found it, and we're going strong still. And our year is coming up in June. I'm excited to see what the rest of the year has in store. Hopefully, we can get some more guests on. I know there's a little anticipated guest that's been waiting to get on for a little while. Zach, he's going to throw a lot of numbers at me.
He's on my side too on the GOAT debate, so it makes me happy.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you might not want to miss that. But no, Zach, it's been fun. It's been one hell of a year. You got the Chiefs as champions, both Dodgers, and sadly the Lakers as champions. You got, I don't know the MLS team later. John, you can get me for that later. But it's been fun. It's been fun. There's never a dull moment, especially in the sports world. And the best is you get a reactions live. That Lakers reaction was live. Everything Zach did on that Lakers reaction when it came to the background was live. All right, I didn't know. I logged in a little bit late and saw it, and I was not happy. Was not happy at all. But Zach, another great thing about the show, and then I know the Sixers playing today, so I know we gotta get to that. But remember when I texted you in Game 6 or Game 5, and I said, "Ooh, we should do a show on Saturday."
I do remember that for the NBA Finals.
And then Sunday happened, and I wasn't.
We won on Friday, and then I warned you. I'm like, you might not want to, but. No, we haven't missed a single weekday. We had one extra show when I did that Flyers post-game live. Gavin, I know you're unable to be there for that, but that was a fun opportunity for me just to kind of explore some different types of coverage that we can do. I did a show from State College early in the morning. That was a fun one because usually, so for those who don't know, we use like the land internet, and that makes it so much faster. I was on guest Wi-Fi at a hotel in my undisclosed location. And yeah, Columbus won the MLS. And so I was worried. I'm like, I hope that there's no frozen. I hope it's not glitching because sometimes it does on the hard internet, but everything worked out well. We had Dom on. Another time we had Dom on, and I was in a class, and I did not think it was going to go that long, but just because of how our schedules looked, we had to get the show in. So I just sat there on mute for a little while until the class ended, and I was able to contribute. But it's been fun. We've had a lot of interesting shows again between 20 minutes and an hour. We try to go 12 to 1. It's fortunate enough today on the end of our first completed calendar year, I guess I'd say, because it's 2020, but not yet our official year. We are able to go 12 to 1 today. So it's been awesome. It's been a fun opportunity for us, and it's going to continue.
Zach, and for those who may or may not know, the times of trying to get onto the show, we talk about school. Zach, I had doctor's appointments in the city. I think I made it back in under 40 minutes at one point, it felt like. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for that one. But no, Zach, we don't miss a day. That we don't plan to miss a day. We work holidays or every day. We're here having fun, uniting and talking sports. And whenever the GOAT debate's on, that's the only time I think me and Zach actually argue about something. I don't know. Every day's fun. I'm excited for next year. Zach, you ready actually get into work now?
I mean, usually our anger is not at each other, but addressed towards something, whether, as Gavin says, Howard, Roseman, the Philadelphia Eagle. I mean, it's never necessarily big debates against each other. I mean, of course, the GOAT debate's going to be one of the classics that we're able to do. But other than that, no, it's been a fun year. We appreciate everybody who's watched so far. I look forward to continuing the show. But with that being said, Gavin, we got to get into it. We got a few quick sports updates we're going to get in. Anything else you want to chime in on here at the end of the year reflection?
Yeah, real quick. We get into so many arguments on the show, and as soon as the show cuts off, we're like, all right, what you get into the rest of the day? Like that's how it is. It's never about one another. It's about what we're talking about. And then it's like we have this switch where we go from friends to show mode, and then when the GOAT debate, we go from and then we just go back at each other. And then when the show's over and after the GOAT debate, then it's like, all right, Zach, what you get into the rest of the day? Like that's how it is. Oh no,
no doubt.
It's been fun. Now I guess we really do have to go to work now and talk about some games. So let's get into it.
I mean, with that being said, a lot of exciting games. First of all, Lamell Ball, who's been getting a lot of heat, dropped 22 points last night in Charlotte's victory over the Brooklyn Nets. We're maybe in a loss, double checking that. But Lamell Ball, Gavin, third overall pick, has received some heat this year. But is it promising to see him starting to put up some points?
Was like actually it was versus the Dallas Maverick, and no, it's not. Here's why.
Actually, they beat the Mavericks by 19.
They did. Here's why. When I look at LaMelo Ball, I look at the inconsistency. I look at the turnovers. I look at everything what he's not doing, which we've seen him do. And the reason I'm hard on LaMelo Ball is it's not that you started from high school and first of all, you dropped 92 in high school. All right, now you could say high school basketball is one thing different. I know some will argue differently. And then you go overseas to Lithuania, and then Australia, and then you did JBA. You were doing all types of levels of basketball, and for you to come in to the NBA and be inconsistent with what you're doing, that's why I'm really critical of LaMelo Ball. I mean, Zach, have you seen him? He has no points one day. Next day he has 6 points, 6 to 10 points. Next day he has 0. Then today he had 20. Last day he had 22. You gotta be consistent with what you're doing. And the turnovers, it looks like it's lack of caring almost, and that's always been his thing. And that's always been the number one thing about LaMelo Ball is his willingness to care.
He's been under the public spotlight since he was 15, 14 years old. It's always tough when you're put in those situations. I know yesterday we talked about it a little bit with Tiger Woods' son as well, living up to some of those expectations. I mean, promising last night. Is it going to be consistent? I'm not sure. But another key game I do want to point out before we get to the Sixers tonight is the Atlanta Hawks, a team that has had a hot start. Gavin, they just went toe-to-toe with the best team in the East. 141-145 was the final score in regulation. The Atlanta Hawks falling to the Brooklyn Nets. I think that this was a great game for Atlanta. It was a great moral victory, I'd say. Do you think the Hawks are almost near guaranteed to make the playoffs this year?
Well, DeWan, if you're still watching, I'm rolling with DeWan and his Atlanta Hawks. Now, he's a Sixers man, but he has a lot of Atlanta ties. Look, Zach, the Hawks are legit. As long as Trae Young is there playing healthy and the pieces they have around them are working. Look, Bogdanovich, they got him in the free agency fiasco. He had 22 last night. Cam Reddish is finally here, had 20. Trae Young had 30. John Collins had 30 and 10. And if you can get great productions from your players like that and they can play well together, Zach, I said they're going to be an 8th seed, maybe 7th seed at best. They're going to make the playoffs. They just went toe-to-toe with arguably my favorites to represent the East this year, and they only lost by 4 points. Zach, the Brooklyn Nets are a scary team. But this Atlanta Hawks, we talk about trap series. We talked about how the Phoenix Suns, if you play them in a 7-game series, you could lose. This is another team that could beat you in a 7-game series. Zach, Trae Young, it looks like an early front-runner MVP.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it could be Trae Young. I mean, Luka did not have a good game yesterday, but we could see these two in the top of the MVP race coming up. Trae Young put up great numbers last year, and if they start winning and they put the right pieces around him, which I think they did so far, he could definitely get the attention that he deserves and the respect he deserves, and possibly could edge closer to the MVP conversation. A couple other games, another game of note, the Heat coming back against the Bucks after a big loss. Not a big surprise. Dropping 140 points one night. It's going to be hard to do it the next night. Miami Heat getting their revenge after the previous game. But another game of note, yes, the Lakers did win against the Spurs 121-107 on LeBron's birthday. But there's another story to that. Greg Popovich was ejected in the second quarter, and as assistant coach, the first ever female to be a coach, or at least the coach at the time, for an NBA team. Props to her. That's a great milestone. This has been also a year of milestones for a lot of people, and that's just an exciting thing that we should point out.
You look at Sarah Fuller from Vanderbilt, and yes, I know Vanderbilt football is horrible, but Zach, she did score in a Power 5 game. She kicked off in a Power football game, excuse me. And then you have the female assistant coach last night, well, arguably head coach now. Zach, I love to see stuff like this. I really do. Then you got the Miami Marlins with their hire as general manager. It gets better. Zach, I'm going to come out and say I see her the first female NBA coach either a year or two from now. I'm calling it.
I mean, look, if you're in Greg Popovich's system, I trust you more than anybody.
That true. I didn't Brett Brown come from that system. Maybe we don't trust him, but it's all
well, he was good for the rebuild.
A rebuild, but when it came to winning, he wasn't there. Zach, come on now, let's be honest.
All right, you know what? Greg Popovich, great coach. Well, it's all great discussions for one point. Again, tough loss for them last night, but congrats on one of the big milestones as we continue.
That's very true. And also, Zach, another milestone, the first ever all-black officiating crew on Monday Night Football.
That's
that
right.
was a big accomplishment. And Zach, talk about a bad year, but talk about your accomplishments. There's been a lot of them.
Yeah, there have been. I think that's one of the big things that will be looked back on. So just trying to see any other key scores yesterday. The only other one I see, the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard back in the lineup, 128-105. My continued lack of trust and belief in the Portland Trail Blazers will continue until further notice, and I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Zach, I had to see a little bit more. I think it's a little bit too early to be saying they're not going to make playoffs. I mean, Zach, they were on the outside looking in last year. I don't disagree with you, but the West is tougher this year. Damian Lillard is there. Ronnie Hood is back, even though he only had 3 points last night. CJ McCollum's on a tear. Let's get close to All-Star break and then answer that question again.
Did Carmelo play last night? I don't think he did.
He did. 15 points.
Okay. You know, I'm not sure what's missing. Maybe the bench, but I don't know. I'm not high on the Blazers. I need to see some more from them before I can.
Very Trent last night for some reason.
Next game's Cleveland and the Pacers today. Not much going on there. The Wizards and the Bulls. Again, Wizards looking for their first win. Gavin, do you think they get it today over Chicago?
I do believe so. And I believe Russell was wow. Again, I did it again. I believe Russell Westbrook comes out with 30 points today. Forget the triple-double. He needs to win. He needs to score.
You know, that we'll see how that game rolls out. The Bulls also struggling under first-year head coach Billy Donovan. Raptors and Knicks. Suns and Jazz is going to be a good game tonight. I think the Suns are going to pull through, but that's going to be a fun one to watch 9 o'clock tonight, Gavin. Who are you taking in the Suns-Jazz game?
I'm taking the Suns. I like the Phoenix Suns in this one, Zach. You got arguably the best leader in the NBA, Chris Paul, and you have a great young talent in Devin Booker, Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton. You got coach Monty Williams, who everybody loves to play for. Cameron Johnson's going to get only but better. Zach, give me Phoenix tonight, and it's going to be a close one, though.
And finally, the big game for our hometown Sixers in Orlando on December 31st. A year ago today, they played the Pacers and got crushed on New Year's. They also tend to not do well against Orlando. I want to say the Sixers are a new, better team, but it's a trap game. It's okay. Don't freak out. I'm going to take Orlando tonight.
I'm taking the Sixers tonight, and Joel Embiid blocks the hell out of Markelle Fultz. That's how I feel.
Fultz is on a tear right now. Like, that team looks like we were laughing at them a few weeks ago with some of the extensions that they made, including Markelle Fultz. But they're looking like a serious team right now that can contend. Again, this is going to be one of the most competitive years in NBA history. I don't see a team 500 or worse making the playoffs in either conference this year.
Going to be most competitive for the East this year, Zach. It's been a long time since we've seen it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, the East might be more competitive than the West this year. That might still be a little bit far-fetched, but it's going to be a fun year in the NBA. I'm looking forward to it. Even though there's 10 less games this year, it's going to be fun.
Guaranteed. Just, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, especially after All-Star break, because that's when things start to get real.
For sure, and that's going to be coming up faster than you think. We're only 5 months away or so from playoffs. That's coming up really quickly. Gavin, anything else that you wanted to go over today?
Yeah, just comment right here, this last one. LeVar Ball. LeVar may have been the greatest salesman ever.
Pretty accurate.
I mean, wouldn't it be technically called false advertisement when you think about it? You talk about 3 of your sons, and one was swiper, no swiping, and the other one can't shoot, but he's a great passer, and the other one is like the care. So I guess you're right. He is a great salesman. He got them all. He got two out of his 3 boys were top 3 picks, and the other one, my favorite one, I just can't.
Yeah, Leandro, he was on an NBA roster earlier in the year with Detroit, but
Didn't get a chance.
that's all for him. I mean, yeah, I mean, we'll see how that plays out again. I mean, you got to get props for getting at least two guys in the NBA. Lonzo Ball is not a scrub. I don't think Leandro is going to be a bust. Are they going to be top five at their respective position? No. Are they going to be respectable and a good piece to build around a playoff team? I think so.
Lonzo Ball is going to be most improved player maybe this year. I mean, it's hard to say that. It's like I was watching the game the other night. He airballed at mid range. I don't know how you do that, but
he's getting better than what he's used to be. He was not a good shooter before.
Yeah, exactly. If he gets motivated to do it, Zach, Lonzo Ball is a great passer. I'm not going to question his playmaking that whatsoever. And defense. It's a shame the Lakers going to make it work with him.
Yeah, I mean, part of the Anthony Davis trade, of course, they lost Brandon Ingram in that trade and Josh Hart as well. I'd say it's a pretty fair trade for both sides. Both sides were good to move on. But with that being said, again, Oklahoma last night taking care of Florida in a big win. Florida was a team that was thought of to make the playoffs if they didn't drop that loss to LSU, but quarterback 3 interceptions, not going to work out. Spencer Rattler and the Oklahoma Sooners, no problem winning that game. Tomorrow, we are going to be breaking down some of the other playoff games in the college football world, including the Rose Bowl, which is between Alabama and Notre Dame, which, again, I'm not too fond of Notre Dame being in the playoff. And then, of course, Ohio State and Clemson. So we'll be covering all of that and more. We will be here tomorrow on New Year's Day. With that being said, please stay safe tonight, everybody. Happy New Year, and we will see you all tomorrow.
2021, everybody. Let's get it. Positive vibes only. Right, Zach?
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Happy New Year.
Have a good one, everybody. Happy New Year.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos.